Good evening and welcome to tonight's main episode of our Ought to Know Better podcast. It is Would You Adam and Eve It, the end of the fourth season we're running. So this is episode 38. And I'm joined tonight by Luke. How are you doing?
It's phantasmagorical.
It's a while since we've had that. Phantasmagorical came out quite early on, quite a lot, but it's been a while since we've had that. Smarty, how are you doing?
It was an ironic phantasmagorical, though. Actually, earlier on it was.
Is it not always?
Yeah.
Smarty, how's the eyebrow?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, sound. They're still here. I haven't shaved them off in pure disgust yet, so we're all right.
Oh well, I mean the facial
Still
hair
time.
was a the facial hair was a thing, but you know we can come on to it. We can mention it, but I think it is gone as well, hasn't it? So. You know, that's that ruined. So anyway, we'll get into an intro and then we'll get into it.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and then you are listening to the Ought to Know Better podcast. Let's do this.
You look like fucking Brolin, you're a Leeds hating bastard.
Look like some sort of fucking weird floating head. No.
He's a utensil player a bit, innit?
I mean, I feel a bit right, dickhead.
Nothing spectacular, really.
Hello, Dave.
All right, Dave.
Blaze Ray early in the comments. Have I missed it? No. We're here. We're sorted.
Ray's indeed blazed. Not too blazed to know what the intro is to the outro. Go on, Ray.
Right, okay. I tell you what we'll start off with. We'll start off with a bit of this.
Ought to Know Better predictions.
And tonight, the first half of this podcast is sponsored by San Miguel. So
H2O.
Mine's sponsored by
I
Yorkshire tea.
need to slightly roll back on a mountain of shit that I gave Bren over the weekend. So this was a hollow victory because I picked up 5 points by virtue of predicting Leeds getting beat at the weekend. And I thought I was only 4 points behind Bren. And I was not. I was 5 points behind Bren. So I didn't beat him. And I've given him an untold amount of shit for it. So we finished joint points. So going through it, Luke, I can't find anywhere where you gave me a prediction, I'm afraid.
I was in the North Sea.
Because he didn't. So it's default.
So default would be a Leeds
2-0.
a Leeds victory because that was the average.
2-0 victory.
It was 2-0. Both Jay and Carl, both Bren and Carl went 2-0. So it would have been a 2-0 that you'd have predicted towards Leeds.
I would have gone 2-1 Saints had I been here.
Would you?
Yeah.
I predicted. I've actually
It's funny how
predicted
that happens,
to
isn't
me.
it?
Yeah, well, do you know what? I actually predicted to my mate, who's an Ipswich fan. I said, you don't need to worry about winning the weekend anyway, because we'll get beat by Saints 2-1. And I've got the messages.
So even if we took that into account, to be fair, you wouldn't have won. You'd have been.
We've got 3 more games left potentially, so I don't know what you're on about.
We've got 3 more games in the playoffs, not in the league.
But it's still going to count to Rod's predictions, isn't it? It's still part of the season.
Nah.
Of course it is.
I said this one up for debate, but because Gillies decided to, make himself first on with Brendan.
I thought I'd won it.
We've got the season. The season's still going.
That's
Not a regular season, though, is it?
I went, it's still up for debate. This,
What are you-
we didn't
hang on
debate
a
it.
minute.
Gilly just decided.
Well, I asked the
I'm not
question
having
in the
that.
group, and absolutely nobody shared their opinion.
Well, we've got the.
You shared it in group 3 minutes before fucking kick-off, you tit.
It's
What are
been
we doing there,
days.
lads? I went, it's up for debate. And then it literally kicked off, did game. Anyway, digressing.
Anyway, I think it has to go to the end of the season. If you
Surely.
both finish on the same points, we're not having a draw. So it has to be continued. To be continued, I say. I'll drink some H2O to that.
And do you know what? I'm all right with that because I didn't win it. If I'd have won it by 1 point, if we'd have cut it off at this point, we'd have been cutting off at this point. But I didn't, so it's fine. But that does bring us on to the game. Nobody else got a point because everybody else showed loyalty towards Leeds and I didn't. I actually won £35 on a double Ipswich and Saints.
Did you?
Put a fiver on that. And I know for a fact I wasn't the only one. Although Johnny Brown did go double Huddersfield Town Leeds. I'm like,
So
well,
did
you're
I.
just throwing your money away, pal.
No.
Town were never getting a result in that. That's why it was done.
I put Town for a draw, actually. I went Town draw, Saints win. And that would have come in for some decent readies, actually, but it didn't come through.
Well, yeah, because it was never going to happen, so the odds were going to be daft.
It
So,
was. I think it
you
was something. I think it was like 17.5-1 for those two results. But it's 2 games of football. Strangest thing happened, and I convinced myself, even though I told my mate that we were going to lose the game, I'd convinced myself that because Maidstone had beaten them there this season, there was this chance. There was a glimmer of hope. And before the game, I got right built up, and I was like, do you know what? I think it might happen because these things do happen in football. And the final day seems to bring in the Aguero shout in the Premier League and you know various others. So I was like, I was clinging on to a bit of hope. Realistically, sensibly, it was never going to happen. But there was a glimmer and there was something inside me. And when I was speaking to other Leeds fans on the way to the game and in the pub and everything else, there was quite a lot of people latched onto that little bit of false hope. Do you know what I mean? It was a very slim chance. And I mean, I don't know what the actual, the odds were 17.5-1 of it happening. So I would say that's probably about it's probably more than that. And they've just sort of short-changed you. But yeah, it is what it is.
I think the saying is it's the hope that kills you, isn't it?
Yes.
And it was very true.
It is. So going into the game then. So Luke, you travelled up for this and you were at the game. How much of it do you remember?
I was drinking gin, so
before the game,
I woke up and I literally had a can of. I don't remember what it was.
Archers or something really. Proper.
Yeah, something deep. No, it was one of them. It was them Jack Daniels cans or something like that. So I had literally for breakfast.
Pre-mixed.
A couple of them for breakfast. On the way to the game, I was supping cans of gin in the ground. I buy every time I go to buy 4 or 6 them little cans of gin to stick them in pockets. If anybody here from the club is watching right now, you don't know this, but I take them in and have a drink gin while I'm watching the game.
Fair play. I was going to say, you definitely can't have bought them in there.
In where?
You don't do nice in the ground.
Yeah, they do. They do them in cans.
No, they do.
Do they? Where?
Yeah.
Premix. Yeah.
At every bar in the South Stand.
Yeah, bar. Yeah.
I've never seen them.
They do vodka ones as well. So I reckon I had probably before kick-off, I probably had about 7 or 8 gins, 9 maybe gins before the game, 4 or 5 during the first half, a couple at half-time. So, yeah, I don't remember a lot of it, but from what I understand, it was pretty shit anyway.
So, let's talk about the actual football then. Well, no, actually, I'll stick with you, Luke, see if you can remember. What did you think to the starting lineup?
I remember somebody telling me Archie Gray weren't playing, but I have to be honest, I didn't even notice.
Fair enough. Smarty, I'll come to you. Do you remember much at game?
I do, as it happens, yes.
I get to see you, Smarty, actually, didn't I?
Yeah, no, I was going to say, like,
I forgot about that.
Behind me, and I'm like, what the fucking hell's happening? They're like hanging over this like rail. Fucking hell. He would half cut at half time, man. His eyes were rolling when I saw him at Peacock afterwards. Christ alive. That was some 45 minutes, that, Luke. Yeah, I think we did all right initially. You know, first 10, 15 minutes, I thought, we might actually make a game of this. How wrong I was, indeed. We just didn't seem to... I don't know what the fuck happened to midfield. I mean, it's since been... Obviously, he's been on the interviews and all that sort of stuff, and he apparently tried to be a little bit more attacking, but I didn't really notice any difference between the attacking from this game to any other games. It was quite slow, quite laboured, it seemed. And defensively, we're absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking. I don't think we had a midfield. There just seems to be these glaringly massive holes in the centre at Park where they were just wading through. They were like there were no opposition there. It was so easy for them to break through it and put us under attack. I thought Somerville was shit. I thought Rutter was shit. Gruev and Kamara were non-existent. I thought defensively we were very, very porous. I can't believe Firpo when who was it that actually did him? Chase after that ball and did
Walker
him.
Peters, wasn't it? I think.
Was it Walker Peters? I remember watching him run into. He's not going to get that surely, and then he did fucking Firpo, and then they scored. I was like, there you go. That's when I wanted.
I haven't seen it back, but I were in cop right in front of that, and I were convinced it were out, but I haven't seen it back.
Do you know what? Yeah. Do you know what I do remember? I did feel that certainly the first half, that they only really ever felt like they were in our half. We seem to be doing what we do to a lot of teams is having a lot of the ball and not doing a lot with it, and it's frustrating, isn't it? We had some good chances. Nonto does me fucking head in. Like, he loses the ball, or the ball gets taken. The ball gets taken out of play, or somebody ushers it out of play, and he just smiles and like laughs about it. Like, fucking get up and get on with it. Like, he's starting to really grind on me. I don't know if I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he and Somerville think that, they got, that they're too good or what, but their form's been absolutely fucking shocking. Like, absolutely piss poor. Rutter, absolute dog shit.
Nonto's probably be the best of a bad bunch. I don't want to say a bad bunch, but I kind of do in the word, because they've been poor, haven't they?
I think with the expectation, Smarty, innit? We know how good they can be, and they can change a game on a, you know what I mean? And they've just looked disinterested. I don't know if
they're falling below their standards that they've set throughout the season. I think that's where we're all at now, innit? I think they've set the bar and they're just falling below it constantly, and it's not like a consistent shit performances from our best players. We just look devoid of options. We look devoid of confidence. I've written down here, no spine, no confidence, no chance. And that's basically how I'd just sum it all up, if I'm honest.
And is that playoffs as well?
That's absolutely, yeah. That's what I think for playoffs, yeah. It's going to take some hell of it. I mean, come on. I mean, since that Blackburn game, it's just been, the atmosphere has been pretty on its arse. I mean, it certainly was. The second half on Saturday I've never heard it like that. It was so flat and so quiet. It was ridiculous. It was like we were having a minute silence, and I genuinely mean that. It was that quiet at some points. I was like, holy fucking shit, this is bad. And I think we'd all just resigned to the fact that we were going to playoffs. And again, I think the majority of the fan base has resigned to the fact that we aren't going to do anything in the playoffs, and we're going to get beaten by Norwich. We'll probably we'll go into the playoff stuff, obviously.
We will,
but I just
we will.
We just look so fucking resigned and lacking in confidence, and just so pathetic and weak. Now I've just no confidence in them whatsoever. I don't think they've got them themselves. When they went for the little walk of honor, little lap of honor, or whatever you want to call it, walk of appreciation, whatever
walk
you want to call it afterwards. It should have been a walk of shame. You just looked at the players. The body language says it all.
I stayed right till the very end though for him to do that.
So did I.
And the crowd were very much still behind and trying to roll.
Some pockets. Those that remained, I think there were some pockets of, like you said, they were a bit of like, come on, and I don't think it's like, come on, fucking get a bloody kick up your ass sort of thing. I think it's, come on, we're still behind you sort of thing.
It's not over yet with the champion.
Is it? But the fact that so many people disappeared before full time as well. I mean, I don't know if we're ever going to see Cooper again after this, but I stayed at least to give him a clap. My clap was for Liam Cooper, because you don't know when we're going to see if we're ever going to see him again. Certainly, maybe not at Elland Road. You don't know, do you? So
no.
So
I think it tells a story to me that two of the biggest cheers of the day were at the end. That bit when they were doing the walk around at the end, because actually I felt the hairs going up back in my neck, because it was genuine support for the team, saying it's not over yet, keep going. And the other one was for a donut.
Sorry, I tried muting.
You did. Inflatable donut being passed around ground.
We had the beach balls. I actually smashed one miles. Actually, I got one fucking well.
Were you sweet?
Oh no, just like under God, smashed it in miles. It went fucking miles. I was like, yeah, that's the best thing I've done all day. That's the best thing I've seen all day.
Get your head on that.
Yeah, I had to bust it.
No, there were a donut that made it. It made the full circuit. It came from South Stand, I think. It went all the way around and ended up at bottom end at West, and then it went. The seats, the empty seats on the screen. It landed in there, so it made full circuit. Yeah, do you know
that's bad, isn't it? When we're talking about highlights at fucking game, we're talking about inflatable bastard donuts.
I know highlights though.
That's how it went.
Apart from Piro's goal, which were fucking well taken, by the way.
It was.
Apart from that, what else is there to say? It was boring. I was bored.
It was boring.
I was sat back in my seat.
I thought that they stifled the game. They had a game plan and they stuck to it and it worked for them. They stifled the game. I thought bringing Ryan Fraser on in that position that he did were absolutely inspired because Ryan Fraser's not a fullback. He's not a defender, but he's not going to get paced and he's not going to get out muscled. So put him out there and he just sat out there and Anthony had nothing. He couldn't beat him. He couldn't do him for pace. It was just that. I thought their changes really worked for them. They brought Suleimana on, but I think they brought him on because Shea Adams were injured. He hobbled off, didn't he? It didn't look good, and I think he would be a loss to them in playoffs if that's something that's significant. But I don't know. I think for me, it was a flat game. I mean, I've put the momentum in the brand, and if you look, it kind of goes with the goals. They scored. They were on top. And then they did that again. We were on top for large stretches, but exactly as Luke said, we were camped on edge of their box or camped in on edge of that kind of third area without really hurting them. And it felt very much to me like every time they got into an attacking position, we looked really vulnerable. And it was a complete opposite to the way that they were set up. And when we had the ball and we were trying to press them, I can't find any positives to take into the playoffs. So I'm going to come to Luke for this one. Because it's been said, you have been accused this season. It's been said that you're a bit of a happy clapper at times. Give us some positives.
Well, I mean, with the bookies still make us the favourites in the playoffs. Fuck knows how.
Did they base that on league position, though, or finish league position?
I don't think they do. I think they base it on form, who you're playing, where you're playing, away from home. I think they base it on a lot of things. So none of the four teams going into the playoffs are in fantastic form. It's worth noting as well. So that's a positive. None of 3 to 7 are in any substantial amount of form where they've managed to just scrape into the playoffs. We've all been in there for fucking ages. And expected to pretty much be there. So it's a lottery, isn't it, in the playoffs? It only takes one bad game or one really good game and your tails can get up. Do I think we'll get past Norwich? Yes. I don't think we'll beat whoever we meet in the final, unfortunately. Yeah, that's where I am with it. I think we've beat Norwich twice this season. I think we've got their number. Have we got better players than all the other three teams? Absolutely. Certainly more talent. Better players, arguable at the moment. I think a lot depends on who we've got available as well. There's talk of Dan James being back, Paddy being back potentially as well, and Connor Roberts.
I've not heard about Dan James.
They've been massive. They've been massive. I think for us going into these types of games, look, they're not going to play 90 minutes.
Boost as well, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I think it's what we need. I think we've looked lethargic and look, we've played. I think the 14 games Paddy started this season in the league, we've won 11, drawn 2, and lost 1. And people say he's still not important to us.
Big stats them out
there. So yeah, I just think whilst he's not the best striker in the world, he's just something that we've got nothing that nobody else. He's got something that nobody else can offer us, and that's experience mixed with what he does as a number 9. So, look, I'm not overly optimistic, and I usually would be. I think going into this, but I think that's just based on recent form and players and how they've been performing man for man. But we know how good they can be. We've seen it in spurts this season. That unbeaten run we went on of 20 odd games or whatever it was from January. If we can pull something out of that, then we have every right and every reason to go up. But it's going to take some fucking turnaround based on current performances for me.
No, and I think that's fair. But you are right to say that. It feels like we might have their number because if you consider the recent, I think we beat them twice in the league last season, and we beat them twice in the league this season. So no, it wasn't last season.
Last season, the season before,
the season before because they got relegated. But yeah, so we it feels like we might have, but it also felt like a different team that we were watching at that earlier in the season, didn't it? So. It's difficult for me. I think to come into the playoffs on the form that we've got, and it's not just the results, is it? It's the way that we've been playing, and we've looked brittle. We've not looked like we've had that confidence that was oozing from them when it looked like Ampadu and Rodon with Gruev and Kamara in front of them just weren't going to get beat. And it did feel that way. And so I guess there's a question mark over, exactly how have we ended up here? Is there a schism? Is it that players are looking at the situation and going, well, I'm going to be in the Premier League, or I'm going to get a move somewhere else, or whatever else? There were a question, I'm going to ask it because we talked about it, but there was a question about, do we think actually that there's a possibility that some of the players either aren't bothered about Leeds getting promoted because they're going to get a move anyway, or conversely, at the other end of the scale, aren't bothered about Leeds getting promoted because they'll personally do better off by still being at Leeds instead of having to find a new club because they'll be released or whatever else. If Leeds are promoted, they're probably not going to be a space in the squad for them. It was a question that were asked on Twitter. Luke, I know that you were in the thread with me as well. Can we put anything to that? Do we think there's anything in that?
I'll let you go, Smarty, because I'll say my piece on it in a minute. I've already said it once, but I'll say the same. What do you think?
I think that's a bit of a reach, if I'm honest. I mean, I wouldn't have expected so. I mean, we won't know, will we? We'll never know. I mean, have you ever played football and not tried as hard? Because I know I have done. So there's reasonable reason to suggest that they might do, but I can't really think that they would. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going up to Premier League with Leeds United, the majority of those players will get extended contracts and better money anyway. So it's probably in your own interest to try harder and try and actually get promoted with the club that you're currently signed for, rather than thinking, well, fuck it, because there won't be any. I don't think they're even legally allowed to sign for any clubs before the transfer window and stuff. There might be some sort of talk going between agents and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, Leeds are in a position, or don't want to be in a position, I think I've seen somewhere saying that most of the players that we've got will keep unless unless the offer's correct or it suits us, So we're not obliged to sell any players. So it's a bit of a thin sort of ice. If they want to start dancing on thin ice when they start negotiating or renegotiating moves and all that sort of thing, it's a bit. You don't really want to be in that sort of position, do you? I don't know. We're guessing, aren't we? I wouldn't have thought so. I really wouldn't have thought so. I think, to be honest, those players that aren't good enough that might be saying, "Oh, fuck it, I'll try as hard and then maybe get another contract because we'll stay down here." To be fair, I think football's a lot more cutthroat than that, and I think those that aren't performing or aren't good enough to take this team forward will be fucked off in summer anyway. So
yeah, I think I share this pretty much the same sentiment. I think they're a professional footballer. They get promoted. They're likely going to get a promotion bonus. Most of the players that have got more than 1 year on the contract will get an increase relative to a Premier League increase. And yeah, I mean, we're talking about a very small minority of players, aren't we? That actually probably are good enough for the Premier League or aren't going to have a contract here next season potentially if we don't go up, or if we do go up. Sorry. So yeah, I think it's a bit of a reach. I do. I think it's very different to the situation that we were in when we got relegated, when players had this loan clause option to go. Yeah. I think it's very different because they've got that option set in stone that actually if they get relegated, they don't give a fuck. They just don't want to get injured so they can go and play in the Champions League for Hertha Berlin or whatever else. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's very different in terms of that group of players and this group of players. I also think this group of players have shown a sense of togetherness and camaraderie this season that's been lacking at stages, over the last season and potentially the bit of the season before as well, where we've seen them enjoying it and we've seen them where they've been pallying, they've been doing stuff together and that just seems to have all been knocked on the head. And I don't know why we don't see these, and it probably comes with the nature of the beast, doesn't it? Admin at Leeds United Twitter, what's his name? Dan. What's his name? The guy who does Leeds Twitter?
Don't know anymore.
Oh, shit. Is it not still the same guy?
David or Daniel or whatever he's called. Anyway, I've forgotten. Anyway, he's probably got a bit of, when things are going well, he's probably got a bit of a license.
Wilson. Digital Wilson.
Digital Wilson,
yeah. It's probably got a bit of a license to have be a bit more playful and things. When things aren't going that well, we don't see that. I mean, and it has a knock on effect to us fans. You know, they can't post players pissing about and having fun in training when actually we're not fucking winning games or we're not performing to a fan's expectation. Then what sort of message
there's a massive backlash in there, and you see it all the time.
Yeah,
I think, like you say, you won't see it as much because even only a few months ago, maybe weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, after the international break, when we started, heading down that slippery slope, the comments in some of the stuff that they put on social media, so like your Instagrams and all that sort of stuff, there was quite a lot of negative comments in there. Why they're doing this, you should be trading, they should be doing that, why they're so happy. We've just, the usual dross, usual fucking gammon heads in there chowing the fat or whatever. It's just, it's just full of shit. And like you said, mate, it's just a license to spread negativity as well, isn't it? Once starts, you just snowballs and they end up with. I mean, that conversation that us three were in today, I had to turn off relatively, shortly after starting it because I just couldn't cope with notifications. It was like that constantly. I'm really busy at work and on my phone. Like a frigging Christmas tree glowing up every 2 minutes. So I need to turn this off. So you know what it's like. And that was just under one of Graham Smith's posts. You just have to look at some
Was that
of
the ticket prices?
Posted. That were the ticket price and stuff.
Yeah.
For the playoffs. Yeah, it was just absolutely crazy. I'm sure we'll talk about the ticket price and stuff in a little bit, but that's an interesting one. That is.
I want Gunner. I'd had enough, but we can do.
We can cover it briefly, can't we? Because we're going to lose to fucking Norwich in playoffs, so we might as well talk about something.
Just while we're talking on the potential promotion, the issues that we've had recently, and so on, I don't know if you saw it, but Jonathan Buchan's I don't know if that's how you say his name. I think it is. He's a sports editor at BBC Leeds, and he does "Don't Go to Bed Just Yet" podcast with the club.
Oh yeah.
And he'd actually spent some time doing a bit of a breakdown of all of the players in the squad, all of the players that have been playing for us this season, and what sort of seasons they've had in terms of appearances prior to this season. And what he found, it's mentioned, a couple of people in the comments have mentioned about it being a young and inexperienced squad, really. There's only Kamara, Bamford, James and Pirro have ever had a 40-game season before. Now that's telling when you're in a season, plus cups, plus now we're playing additional games at the end of the season. It's a long old season that we've said before. And when you add in the additional games, especially with internationals playing as well, you look at Ampadu and the sheer volume.
He's at 50-odd games this season, isn't he?
Yeah, if you include the Wales games, he's into 50s. That's a huge amount of football to play. And we've been playing him for the duration. He's not been a bit part player at any point. He's been playing for the duration of games. Now, there might be something in that. There might be not much in that. It feels to me like there's something there that, the weight of expectation on a squad that has been assembled and has really, they've set themselves up for success and then fallen short because that run that we've talked about from the turn of the year onwards, it was like nothing we've seen before. And it was like, fucking hell, we've got a real chance at this. And it is the hope that kills you. And I stand by that. But they put themselves in a position where they could, and then they just couldn't get it over the line. And you look at some of the games, the Blackburn game sticks out, and QPR, obviously. And you're in a position where you're thinking, what could have been? But in terms of what it could have been is many of these players had not been in that situation before. And especially being the main thrust of the squad, because they haven't been that. They might have been in good squads before. They might have been in decent sides. Decent sides across Europe. Germany, Switzerland, wherever you look. But you're in that situation where what's being asked of them has never been asked of them before. So you do wonder if we're being a little bit harsh on them. But as fans, we have an expectation. As Leeds fans, doubly so.
It's a very heavy shirt, isn't it? And I'm pretty certain that all players that sign for us know the expectations, and you can tell just by being in that stadium, the air of expectancy around everyone, the whole atmosphere. It's like we're like a crowd of dementors just sucking the life out of the team, aren't we? You must do well. We need to get back to Premiership. I'm just going to suck your life force. It's horrible, isn't it? But like, there's a lot of people in comments that are saying the same. We're relatively inexperienced and young squad, which we are. Even if we don't go up this season, I think that next season will be really, really strong. I think, and with a couple of right additions and stuff, I think we'll make a really good go of it. And I cannot see the top 4 knocking. Well, obviously some of them. I mean, fucking hell, that's another fucking bloody wormhole that me and Luke were down chuffing, fighting in the trenches yesterday about the 90 points argument. Christ on a bike. Friggin' hell.
Some thick bastards about, I'll
honestly,
give them that.
there's some proper thick bastards around it there that do not fucking understand. Anyway, won't go there. But yeah, it's just, like I say, he said heavy shirt. There's a lot of expectancy. It's a lot for young and inexperienced lads to take on. But next season, went a bit Dutch. Next season. Bit of Sean Connery.
Sean Connery?
Fresh money penny.
Yes, next season we'll do much better. Yeah.
At the end of the point, yeah. Okay.
I finished on Sean Connery.
I'm going to ruffle a few feathers here. I think if we don't go up and we do sell the likes of Nonto, Somerville, I don't think we'll get. I don't think we'll sell Rutter, but if we get anything like what we paid for him, then I'd probably get rid of him. I'd let them go because I think they're more than replaceable.
Said exactly the same thing on in the comments on another podcast the other day. I said I would actually happily see Nonto and Somerville leave because I think for the money that we would get for them, we could sign equally as effective players for much less money.
And
we could strengthen the squad in other areas.
So, on that basis, we've seen the pair of them in the Premier League. We saw them both play there. And do you get players that have Premier League experience to come to us at this point?
Not necessarily, but I think we can replace. I think we can replace with better players that are already in this league that are going to work harder and work more as a team unit. Nonto's fucked me off for ages. I'll be honest with you with the way he smiles, just not because of the way he smiles, but just the way we work.
I hate the way you smile. You're a wanker.
No. Do you know what? When he's playing well, it's all great and good and that, and he works really hard when he's playing well. But when he's not, he's just so. And Somerville's the same. They don't work hard when things aren't going their way. They just throw their hands up in the air and they expect all the defensive units to do it for him. Rutter's been the same recently.
Of it all. It's the entitlement.
It's just I'd rather have a player in there that's not half as effective, but 75% of effective in attack, but actually works twice as hard in defence. Do you know what I mean? Do you see what I mean?
Dan James.
A Dan James, for instance.
You can never fault his ethic, can
massively. He's not got the end product of a Somerville or Nonto 9 times out of 10, but what he does offer you is something tracking back and running, and he's up and down that wing, and he's not going to win you a game 9 times out of 10 with a left foot shot or a cut inside. But Somerville's too predictable for me now, unless he's been coached into that's all he's allowed to do. For me,
he's too predictable, or that people or teams know how to set up against him.
Well, no, but why does he always cut back on his right hand side? I could defend against it.
I know. Well, it's either he cuts back on his right and either tries to swing one in or passes it back to Kamara or Rutter. Rutter sometimes, but Rodon, Ampadu, etc. Or Firpo goes for the overlap, doesn't he? Those are the only 2 things that he does. Well, 3. Give him 3. Passes it back into the centre. Either tries and swings a shot in or Firpo overlaps. And to be fair, if I had to put anyone on crosses right now, it would be Junior Firpo. However, we've got no fucker in the middle to do anything with it. And even if we did come to an header, they'd probably blaze it off a bar. So, it's one of them. But, yeah.
I think Jay makes a good point here. Sorry, Gilly, just to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
Your
first time for everything, I suppose.
I know I don't like you tend to agree with him, but players that are important to the team are a different kettle of fish in the Championship. Premier League, they are irreplaceable. In Championship, they aren't. But there would be a big loss. There's no doubt that they can change a game. But how many games have they won us this season? Do you know what I mean? They've probably won us, I don't know, let's say between them 10, 15 games this season. I think we could replace them both and actually strengthen in other areas with the right signings, and that 15 turns into 20 games with a more solidified group and squad that actually want to work hard for each other. I just feel like there's a little bit of, what's the word when you're a little bit lapsy and a little bit, you're just a little, what's the word I'm looking for?
Days ago.
Yeah, but there's an actual word that when you're a little bit
Complacent.
Ambivalent.
Complacent is probably a good want of a good word. Yeah. They just seem to think that they're potentially too good. They've only got to look back 2 seasons, and they were both playing 21s football for us.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They've got to. It's.
Are we guilty of planning for the future rather than planning for the now? Do you think?
I agree 100%.
Well, that's why Melier is still there, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
Because he's got a big future, not because he's doing the job now.
That's another conversation to have.
But you know, he's a long way from his peak. And
do you not think that, you know, with having him here and having him, you know, like you say, he's got massive potential, but we don't need potential. We need someone that's going to come in and effectively. It's like when I was going back to last season when we signed Rutter. We shouldn't have signed him. We should have signed someone that could have made an impact straight away in that transfer. Yeah, or anyone that could have come into that team and made a positive impact, rather than someone just, you know, doing a couple of fancy flicks, thinking, "Oh fucking hell, this isn't really for me," and there's not seeing him again, and then having to rely on Band or Bamford. You know that and that's the reality.
Katie's made a great point here, massive point. Some of our players don't believe in the cyber force if they wouldn't get a look in under Bielsa, and they didn't.
We say
they played 21's football.
Yeah, it's completely different now, though, isn't it? But then again, Bielsa Somerville was a Bielsa player, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he didn't play very often for us under Bielsa. No. He was in the. He was
like you say, you know, yeah. I mean, the thing that
23s as it was then, I think.
I think we only saw Chuff in Somerville a lot, or more than we probably should have done last season, is because there were other options. I mean, at the end of the day, our effective football revolved around Willie Nonto. That dickhead bloody Marsh said that he wasn't good enough or fit for fucking Premier League, and then literally our whole game plan was fucking pass it to Willie.
And that's changed. That's flipped on its head now, and all we seem to have now is pass it to the same position on the field, Somerville on the left wing, and hope that he can do something. That's not a game plan.
Somerville with about fucking 5 players around him, watch him dance around a little bit, do a couple of shimmy shakes, and then pass it back to some fucker in middle for them to lose it. We can't even pass to each other properly anymore.
And the only other thing is get it to Rutter's feet. And it's kind of if Rutter and Somerville are either managed out of the game by the opposition, because let's give them some credit, sometimes that's happened, or just aren't on it on the day, neither are we.
I completely agree with that, and I don't want people here to get the wrong message. I think they're both really good players, and everybody I've mentioned, I think, has got something about them. And look, both or either of them score in this running, and we get promoted. I'll be saying you fucking keep them 2 players here for as long as we can. Just give them 20-year contracts, but that's how it is. I mean, they're disappointing me at the moment, and that's how I feel about them.
But those kind of players are a luxury, aren't they? And you look at them kind of players and their styles of play and stuff like that. The most effective players in this team are those that are quick passers and those that can accurately pass. I mean, at the end of the day, this team would, you know, on paper, would absolutely throttle Bielsa's Leeds because they are much, much better players. However, I think Bielsa's Leeds probably do beat us. At this moment in time now, I do. Because how effective we were in our interchanges of play. Yes, they were scripted. Yes, we got found out sometimes. But I think we were more effective. Now,
but there's not a lot.
We could break them sort of teams down. You know, you had the Pablo Hernandez that could cut that fucking that blockade of players that we seem to, you know, fall down against time and time again. One pass or maybe an outside pass and a cut back to Bamford and bang, it's like, oh fuck, Southampton's game plan's gone to shit because all of a sudden Leeds are 1-0 up. You know, we don't see enough of that, and we just fall down constantly. We have no other. There is no plan B. And
are we too choreographed now? I think
so.
we are. I think you mentioned there about Bielsa's team getting worked out. I think we've been worked out much sooner under Farker.
Yeah.
So I know it's completely different type of styles. Yeah, Chronicles just made a point there that I think has got some something to it. We've been outnumbered in midfield. That's the core issue with Gruev. He may as well be another centre back because he's so deep. So we end up with Gray stuck in no man's land on his own. And I think there has been a lot of that, of Gruev dropping deep to get the ball. And you've got Ampadu and Rode on either side of him, but they're not wanting to push forwards. And then it's kind of what value? The only hesitation I've got on that is when he were doing it during that run, because he were doing it during that run, it were working really well. So it might be that it's just been worked out, that we're trying to do the same thing and get the same results, but the opposition are doing different things against us, and therefore they're nullifying that we were doing well, and we're still trying to do it, but they've got a game plan against that. Could well be. It could well be.
We don't seem to have a plan B. Oh no, that's not necessarily true. Our plan B is in the 80th minute to fucking throw
8 strikers on,
and then see if we can outnumber them in their defence. There's no room. There's no fucking room. The most effective football lately that we've seen is against Middlesbrough, when we let them have more of the ball, invited them onto us, and we countered them. Yeah. It's like, why didn't we do that against teams like fucking Blackburn and QPR? Why were we so hell-bent on taking it to him? You know, and pressing. Blackburn outplayed us massively. They did. QPR, sorry.
QPR
they were just a better team. But why didn't
Blackburn was shit?
Yeah, Blackburn.
But you are right about QPR.
You know, but why didn't we invite them to take more possession of the ball, and then us counter them? You know why? You know, there's so many. I mean, it's not swashbuckling football. It's not a shiny example of the fucking English game. We can shithouse fucking teams as well, depending on how they set up against us. You know, we don't have to be this force. No, we play the right way, and we're gonna press the opposition. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna do that, and we're gonna have Somerville doing 9 million fucking flick ups and take on 3 men down on the left hand side. We can quite happily sit back, allow the other team to have possession, and break on the counter. Look, you can't tell me that we don't have probably the best counter attacking team in the whole league. Yeah. Why do we not use that to our advantage?
Because teams don't come on to us. We don't have the chance to counter attack because we set.
Do we let them though?
Look, no, we don't, because we can set up too choreographed that actually we're going to have 80% possession and do nothing in the final third, because we've got 2 options when we get in the final third. 3 if Willie Gnonto plays out on the right, which I still don't think is his best position, by the way. We get in the final third and we push it up to the corner of the 16-yard box, and it either gets cut inside in the shot, or it gets laid on an overlap and a cross into nobody, or we play it back and across the back, and we do the same down the opposite side.
And then back to defence, and then we'll pass it up and down defence for a little bit, and then we'll try again. And we just force them all their team into a little area, and it's all congested and compact. We can't find a way through. But we don't take any frigging shots from outside the box. You know, that frigging goal that Pirro scored, he just shows an example. I mean, he wasn't outside the box, but he were on edge of box, and he smacked it in. We can't. We're ineffective from set pieces. I know, but that's what I'm saying.
Don't seem to want to shoot.
It's like, would it fucking Firpo or would it Camaro? Someone should have. I think it might have been Firpo. Should have had a shot on Saturday and didn't and passed it.
Yeah, it was Firpo.
It's like, what the fuck? It's like we're trying to run it in from 6-yard line, get up to the 6-yard line and shoot from there. What the fucking hell?
Score the perfect goal every time.
Exactly, and it's just, come on. We're so ineffective from frigging set pieces as well. We might as well not chuff him.
Firpo hit the bar though, didn't he?
Yeah. I think it was saved.
Keeper save it.
I don't think it was given as a save, but I think it was saved.
He got an hand to it.
Yeah, let's. I mean, I was right in front of it, and I still don't know what happened. So
because your eyes went back of your head, that's fine. Absolutely gone.
But I mean, you are right in terms of set pieces. You know, I don't get excited. People around me, it was happening at Blackburn, it was happening at the weekend. People around me getting excited for corners, and I'm like, I can't. I just can't, because no, it's gonna. The best that happens is we don't concede an easy chance for the opposition on the break. That's the best outcome from us getting a corner. Is we don't give anything away. It's a tough one. It is a tough one. So I think if we have kind of touched on it already, but if we just look at the playoff draw, so from a perspective of the approach, the way that we're feeling about it, heart versus head, all of that sort of stuff, try and ignore the history of the competition and the playoffs that we've had. And I can't remember who said it. It might have been you, Smarty, but I think there were 6 or 7 times we've been in the playoffs, and I thought we were just talking about finals and including Villa in that in the cup, and it's not, because the playoffs started earlier than I thought, and I think it were 87 we were in the playoffs the first time. Yeah. So you know, it's a litany of failures in terms of Leeds United in the playoffs. It's never gone well for us. So the simple question is, Smite, I'll come to you first. Are we going to book the trend?
No.
Luke, are we going to book the trend? Are we going up through the playoffs?
I think it all depends what happens in these next 2 games. I think if we can flip reverse and find some sort of belief and form and just pull something out of the hat. I mean, has Farke ever gone up through the playoffs, or has he always won the league? He's won it twice, hasn't he? I think he's never gone up through playoffs.
He definitely won it at least once with Norwich. I'm not sure about playoffs.
I mean, it's a bit. I mean, I'm going to sound a bit like salty here when I'm saying it's a bit fucking stupid that the third place can finish on 90 and we're playing somebody who's finished like 15, 20 points behind us. It's fucking daft, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Just seem mad.
Had we been,
What's worse is that team's going to fucking beat us, mate. That's the worst thing.
17. Norwich was 17 points behind us.
But had we finished on 17 points behind Norwich, we'd be buzzing at the prospect of actually still making it to the Premier League, wouldn't you? So look, there's no denying that on our day with our best squad available to us, we should be putting Norwich away over two legs quite easily. That wasn't the case against Derby. I thought Derby had a better squad than us. We just had played better football, and unfortunately we fell short then. But I think if we can get through these next two, it very much depends who we're playing in the final and how that's gone. Because I think we are the best team left in the playoffs. When we're at our best. When we're at our worst and playing average football, anybody can beat us. QPR showed us that. So if they can't get up for these next three games, they're in the wrong fucking game, aren't they?
No one's going to want to play us, though, are they?
No, they're not.
Really? You look at them three teams, even Southampton, they're thinking, I don't really want to. We wouldn't want to. We don't want to play Leeds United. For me, I think it'll be won or lost at Carrow Road. I think we need to go down there and beat them convincingly in their own yard, because I think the pressure, if it's a must-win game at Ellen Road, I think the crowd and the pressure will be too much for that team. I think they'll crumble, genuinely. I think we need to go down to Norwich and give them a pasting, because I think, and carry that confidence through. With that confidence, the crowd's confident and the crowd will be right behind you. If we lose at Norwich, you can pretty much guarantee that it'll be a fucking horrible place for our team to play at Ellen Road on the week after.
If you were to bet on somebody then, Gilly, Smarty, if you were to put your money on somebody making it out of the playoffs now and getting promoted based on form, based on finishing position, everything, right as we are now, who's your money going on if you had 50 quid free bet?
I'd put it on Saints, I think.
Saints. And I put it on Saints because if we don't get through, I think Saints will batter Norwich. And I think if we do get through, they've got our number.
Yeah.
See, I'm not sure they have got our number. I mean, I don't think they were that great against us. I mean, again, admittedly, I don't remember a right lot. They cut us open quite easily.
But I think that's basically because of how we set up for that game.
Yeah,
though,
yeah.
I think
because we went to win it, didn't we? We felt we had to win to get anything. So, yeah. I mean, they certainly had our number down there earlier on in the season when they were on an awful run earlier on at the season, weren't they? And then the beat was it 4-1, 3-1 or something?
3-1.
And then they went on that really mad run where they didn't get beaten for fucking loads of games as well. That was the start of their resurgence, wasn't it, this season? So I'd still be tempted to put money on us, but only because I'm an glass half full type of person. I just think we need to see some sort of reaction down. And as you say, Smarty, it begins at Carrow Road on Sunday.
I think for me, right, but if we'd have put in a good performance against Southampton at the weekend, I think I'd have been more confident. I wasn't asked really about the result. A win would have been preferable. However, if I'd have seen that they were actually fighting and they played well, and we seemed to be, we've seen that familiar passages of play, that and maybe a little bit of form, we're coming back to those sort of players who we really need to be, performing on the day, then I think I'd have been more confident, but I didn't see that. And their body language really tells a completely different story. Now, people will say that, form doesn't mean fuck all in playoffs. And to be fair, there is an element of truth behind that. But I just don't see that team doing well in these playoffs. I think I just think they're devoid of anything, really. I think we've fucked it, if I'm totally honest.
Yeah, away goals don't count either, do they, anymore?
No, there's nothing for that anymore. That's why we need to really if we go down there and win 2-0, I think convincing win like that, I think we'll.
I think if we win down there, we can make it to the final.
I think it sets a precedent, and we just build on that. Then I think if you'd have given me the option, if I could have chosen who to face between West Brom and Norwich, I'd have probably gone with West Brom, because the whole Norwich thing and Fark and all that sort of shit is probably going to be scratching in the background as well somewhere. So I'd have probably gone with West Brom, but we don't have that luxury. We just got to take it to them, lads. They've just got to go fucking balls out, and just go for it, haven't they? And that's all we can hope for, really, is that they fight for it and they don't just fucking roll over and have the bellies tickled.
So, question for you then, on that basis, if we go to Carrow Road and come away with a 2 or even 3-0 victory, bring them back to Elland Road, you've already said you think we get through. But if we do that convincingly, do you go into the final thinking that we're favourites for it then?
I think if we have a couple of convincing wins or if a couple of very good games, I would be very, very positive going into the final game. Because like Luke's already said, I think that we're the best team that's left in the league. I think probably maybe toe to toe with Leicester. I think we were the best team in the league anyway. You know.
I think no, I still stand
point.
by. I stand by Rutter's comments. What he said, that we are the best team in the league. We the two teams that ran away with it above us, we beat both home and away.
We slapped fucking Ipswich and slapped Leicester, like you say. And unfortunately, we played fucking
shit against QPR
but we played them when we were at a lull. When we were at our best, we weren't ticking. You know, the engine wasn't firing on all cylinders. You know, we played them when we've been fucking dog meat. So. Hopefully they've wiped the slate clean because it's not the league anymore. It's a completely different tournament, completely different competition. This really, if you look at it that way, if you want to shed some positive light on it, and that's the attitude that they need. Right, this is a new start now. Let's just fucking go for it and see what happens.
So you're saying that we do need to end the prediction league?
No,
you can do for me. I'm not winning it.
Different competition, you just said.
It's the end of the same competition, isn't it?
I'm only taking piss. No, it's fine. No, I think that's fair. Sorry, look.
No, I was just going to ask, do goals scored and assists count towards their season's tally, which they do? So, in which case,
it's fine. Honest, it's fine. I think we made an agreement. We are moving it forward on the basis that we need to find a winner. Right. Okay. We shall move on to the next bit, which is a bit of this.
Hey, has got a shit tick this week, my little sparrowfat.
I do like to hear Bren's dulcet tone.
It's like some sort of shit 80s game show music, isn't it?
I think that's the point, isn't it? Yeah. So, yeah, just on this one then. So, I think we've got a couple of things in the brand. I've put one in while we've been talking. Luke, I think you were going to share your screen. So do you want me to go first on this one?
You go ahead, my friend.
So the first one for me is a guy called George Atwell at Soccer Talks Life, who is trying to make a case that Tyler Adams is not injury prone. He's shared his senior career and the appearances and goals that he scored. And has made the statement that the guy is averaging about 20 appearances per season over his entire career. That's not injury prone. Well, I make that about only half of the actual appearances needed over the course of a season, and I think that very much shows that he's fucking injury prone.
So you've got to go like a whole season without making an appearance to be classed as fucking injury prone. Then is that what it is?
So it would seem. So then I did give him a screenshot that showed the 11 injuries he'd had before the season, that he spent most of the season out injured. So that was fun. But whenever we come across the USMNT fans, there is some sport to be had, isn't there? So they are useful for something. And just while I'm finishing pouring my pint of Guinness, which is the sponsor for the second half of this podcast, Luke, over to you.
Let's go for it, biatches. So my shit take of the week is I've chosen this particular one, which is from a lady called Anya on Twitter. Now I'm going to ask you very shortly who you think Anya supports, but it's actually Anya Chappell at Anya Chappell XX, because she's edgy like that and likes to put a couple of kisses on the end of every message. Dirty. I'm assuming. But this is her tweet, and she's listening to I Predict a Riot by the Kaiser Chiefs. So, guessing, who would you guess you supported, lads? Just before we start,
I don't. I'm going to say,
I'm guessing either Ipswich or Leicester.
Yeah. Okay. So my shit take of the week is every other club in the Championship and us being their cup final, and everybody hating Leeds, and we're not famous anymore. Because this is actually from a Sunderland fan, would you believe, who finished absolutely fucking nowhere in the league. But I've also seen tweets from Blackburn, from Huddersfield Town, who were relegated, and Ipswich and Leicester players singing, Leeds are falling apart again. So yeah, I think my shit take of the week is everybody, even fans and that. Like I was arguing with somebody on Twitter last night with some Ipswich fans who just got back from their open top bus promotion for finishing second place, and they were arguing with me about Leeds United and yeah, trying to justify
I don't
why.
get that, me. I mean, I can understand the whole Leicester thing because we had a bit of backwards up, but Ipswich, where the fuck have they come from? All the Leeds fans have been gloating all season. We've been fucking behind them most of the season. I don't understand.
Yeah, anyone would think it was us that's thrown 17 points square, nearly blown it. So I think my shit take of the week is just every other club fucking hating Leeds, and we actually fucking love it, don't we? Let's be honest.
Yeah, man. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
You see, bloody town fans celebrating. I mean, they were officially relegated on Saturday. They were done. They were done and dusted unless the miracle happened, like us. However, they fielded a team of absolute nobodies, fucking joiners, and I think some cleaners. What the fucking hellfire is going on there?
There we go.
You need to make my face look longer there, Christ. So yeah, they fielded a team full of cleaners and orange cutters and all that sort of shit. Then they got, obviously got relegated. And when they had their little pitch celebration with all the fans and shit, Huddersfield Town fans were singing, "Leeds are falling apart again," as they've just been fucking relegated. I mean, the irony of it all is just fucking flabbergasted. I went into work today because obviously I work with a few dog botherers or whatever. And I went, what the fuck's going on with our fans? Like, where's all this coming from? Oh, yeah, but you bottled it, haven't you? I'm like, but we could still get promoted, though. But you've been relegated into the division. You've been relegated into the division below, you fucking pair of dickheads.
Absolute thick as shite.
Fuck off, you fucking knobs.
Any more?
So, yeah.
The only club that we haven't mentioned, and it's particularly pertinent today, I suppose, is that out of all of the clubs that you've named that were having a go at us, Hull was one of them. I did see some comments there. I know that Johnny Brown's been having quite some fun because he lives over that way and he's been taking piss out of them, missing out on playoffs and that. And they've sacked Rossignol today, and I think that just seems madness to me. I think if you look at not Ipswich so much because they've done remarkably well. I think we've all said that. But you look at what Hull were up against this season, and you've got the three relegated sides, Borough, Watford. They've got really expensively assembled squads and spent loads of money, and they've spent less than 10 million on their squad of Hull. Now, all right, they got Carvalho for very little and then paid 100% of his wages, so it doesn't tell the full story. But a lot of people will say to you, "Oh, they've had massive investment." They haven't. I thought he'd done a really good job, and I think it's even better to go back to the manager of the season vote and all fans giving it large about how Rossignol's in the mix and how he's ace and he's brilliant, and now all of them are going, yeah, well, he didn't get us in playoffs and he's shit, and yeah, he should be sacked. So it smacks to me like there's been a fallout more than anything else.
Probably. There were, Johnny Brown. He shared something in one of our chats today. Some of his pals on his Facebook page, and some absolute reprobate has said. I'll read a short snippet of it. There's on about obviously the sacking of their manager. I've never been more convinced by Liam Rosner as a manager. Name a better squad in the Championship other than ours, aside from Leicester City. What the fuck? We should have been in the. We should have. I mean, it's obviously Hull, so it's a bit higgledy-piggledy. This fucking shit. They can barely.
Is that why they can't say Liam Rossignol's name right? Is that?
Yeah, exactly. We should have been a shoo-in for the playoffs. LR, obviously abbreviated now, never had a plan B. Hence the usual drivel he would speak after another dreadful performance at home. I mean,
Liam who? What's his surname?
What, the guy who said it?
No. Their manager.
The manager who's been sacked.
He's said it's Rossignol. I think he's put down on here. I can't even get his fucking name right. Liam Rossignol.
That's how he spelt it. Is Rossignol?
Yeah,
we thought you were just getting it wrong.
No. That's what I read. That's what I'm saying. It's fucking higgledy-piggledy. Fucking But yeah, Rossignol. There you go.
Yeah, so the poll is up anyway, everybody. So get your votes in. We've got half a season Adams. We're not
The
famous
poll.
anymore. Or all sacking Rosinha.
Rosenia. Like lasagna. but better.
Lasagna. Right, okay. Moving us on then. There was some news around money coming into the club and the ownership and various other bits. Side before Elf. At this point in time, I mean, it was a little bit banterific. Oh, there we go. Michael got. Yeah, not only have we heard this joke already, but I double checked it before I tweeted it, and I was the first on that on Twitter. So I'm taking some credit for that. Yeah, just when you get right down to it, thank you, appreciate it. When you get right down to it, we're owned by how many different people, because we're actually owned by an investment group. So there's all sorts of different people that own us, and we I think you've spoken to a couple of them. I think Larry's one that you've actually spoken to. Luke, Simon Peacock, I think maybe.
Yeah, met him, lovely guy. He's actually coming on here. If you keep your eyes peeled, he'll be on here one day this week. Not this week, sorry, but before the end of the season.
And yeah, so I think, we're owned by a lot of people. There's a lot of people that have invested into that investment group. So when we get right down to it, Luke, I'm going to ask you this one first. There's investment into a club. That's great. It's not our money. Are we even bothered?
Nah, I think it seems to be quite trendy now, doesn't it, to have somebody's name attached to your club? That with Wrexham and Ryan Reynolds and all these other people who are getting involved.
What about Birmingham and fucking Brady or whatever his name is?
Yeah, Tom Brady at Birmingham. I was going to say that, and it seems quite trendy to have these American stars, because what they're effectively trying to do is get into the American market, and they've seen that actually it's growing over there, which is great, but they're fucking clueless. In terms of we've had American owners in this country. I don't mean Americans are clueless to our American listeners. I do apologize, but yeah, sorry, I was trying to catch up with your two side chat there.
Sorry, carry on.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of these people getting involved in football, what I mean by where they're clueless is they don't know, they're not ex-footballers, they're not people who've got any sort of potential interest in football. They're either famous sports stars or film stars, and it doesn't mean a lot to us, but it also does, because unfortunately that's the way the game's going nowadays. It's becoming a popularity contest with how many followers and subscribers you've got. Yeah, we'll probably get loads of new followers on Twitter because of it, and Facebook and whatever.
We'll have to all dress up as Ron Burgundy at some point.
Yeah, you're gonna have to have a tash then.
Yeah,
I can wear a fake tash.
We should be the Channel 9 news team, and like be the is it Channel 9, isn't it? Channel 6, I can't remember. Maybe it's upside down 9. It's been a long time since I've seen it. Afternoon delight.
Down.
Gonna grab my baby, gonna hold her tight, gonna.
We'll have to wear Sex Panther aftershave.
But it's always been what it's worth. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's just the way. Ultimately, the way the world now seems to be. The bigger the club, the more higher profile. I mean, we've moved a long way since Vern Troyer, let's be honest. So,
God, yeah.
Is Larry Nance bigger than Vern Troyer? Is that what you're saying?
Larry Nance could probably hold him in his hand. I'll be honest. But yeah, I mean, I'm all for it. I don't mind it. It's not anything that's going to make any impact on my life. The only thing it will do, it will bring a new breed of fan to the club, and that is the only worrying thing, I think, for the long-term future, but certainly not for the short term. And it's great to have more money for the club, I suppose. I mean, it's probably a relatively small amount. I imagine it's probably not billions or even probably millions as is part of the investment group, but only time will tell. I'm looking forward to meeting him in the Peacock and him buying some beers.
Will Ferrell, imagine that. That'd be absolutely class, wouldn't it?
I mean,
fuck it.
It would be funny. It would be amusing, wouldn't it, if he just pitched up one day at Peacock?
I mean, you guys are doing Anchorman. I'd have to be doing like Step Brothers, fucking. All
Do we just become best friends? Yep.
I'd be doing the Iron Lotus with him across one at Beer Gardens from that ice skating movie that he did. What's that?
The licking
called
white
now?
dog shit in front of Peacock.
What's that film with the ice skating? When he does
The Blades of Glory.
The Blades
of Glory. That's a class film, man. When he does the Iron Lotus.
He's just quality, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's just class. And everything that he does, he's just
Elf's
absolutely
mine.
class.
If you're going to ask me, I know it's a Christmas film rather than just a normal film, but Elf's mine. I think it's great.
I like him in Wedding Crashers. I think he's quality in Wedding Crashers.
Yeah, I mean, we can
think
just
he's
keep
in that,
doing
is
this
he?
if you want.
Yeah. He plays the guy who crashes funerals.
Of course he does with Owen Wilson. Yeah.
Right,
Anyway,
Vince Vaughn.
that's what I think it means is essentially nothing but quite a lot for the future, I suppose. I mean, we've already got quite a few high-profile people who are fans of the club, you know, with Maximus Decimus Meridius and others. But is he a fan? No. Does it mean a lot to him? Probably not. He's just in it to be part of this investment group that might make some money in the future.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I'm just going to spin through a couple of these comments. We've already talked about this one. Apologies, Nige D. On a side note, all a bit harsh sacking Rossin. Yeah, we think so.
Rosenia.
Badras says Southampton have got to be favourites, in my opinion. They won us and West Brom both games and drew Norwich both games. I mean, if that's true and they've gone unbeaten against all of the other sides that they might face in the playoffs.
But then again, we went and beat against the top two and we still didn't finish top two. So there's your fucking thing. That's gone out the window.
Look at friggin' Huddersfield Town when they were in chuffing playoffs. They didn't score a friggin' goal in open play. The only one that they did got register was an own goal. And then they went through by penalties. I mean, out can happen in playoffs.
Yeah. Agreed.
But we're still not great.
Skips here. I understand we're in poor form and low on confidence, but if the players can't get up for the next 3 games, then that's abysmal. Surely, as footballers, you want to play in the games that matter. And what's the terminology? The richest game in football, the playoff final. So you know it is a big deal, and you know any promotion on your CV, any promotion success and celebration that you can have, it's a big deal. You know, it's still shit that we weren't in the stands when we went up last time. It really is, and I think that's there is a bit of desperation to be able to experience that with us in the stands. So I get everybody's misgivings about where we are and where we're going to end up and whatever else. But that statement from Skip for me is right. If the players can't get up for these, then what are they doing in it?
Yeah.
Friend of the pod and ex-Leeds United player himself, Cy Johnson's with us. It was a totally different pressure when the lads were chasing. I feel for them. It was a big ask to keep the form right up until the end of the season. I think it's fair. And I think we can't really gainsay what he said, having played for the side. So it's a fair point.
P.S. Viduka should have squared it.
Should have
squared it.
sharing
that the other day.
Yeah, I saw it as well.
How many years was it?
25
years since that day.
What it 25? What it 20? It can't have been 20. You were a round number, wasn't it? Oh, I can't remember.
1999.
25 doesn't seem right.
Yeah, 2099.
Yeah,
maybe a bit early.
Yeah, so I think you're right. You should have squared it. So that's fair.
He still scored though, even though he was a mile offside.
He was, but it was a pearler, wasn't it? So we won't say anything. I did see the one from the first Magic weekend where Sinfield kicked it from halfway line and it hit crossbar and we scored off it and we were all offside. That was shared on Twitter yesterday as well. That was a bit of a when it goes your way. Scooby D2 says I've been dying to throw a wet sponge at Willie for a while.
Is that a euphemism?
Who knows? Who knows?
Innuendo, maybe? I don't know. Tell us,
Maybe
Scooby.
So.
If that's your thing.
I mean, Jay's asked this question as well. How many of us said it?
The new pod dodge, you mean?
Yeah. How many of us said it would be mint going up at Wembley, though? I mean, we did. I think most of us, if not all of us, said if you guaranteed me promotion via the playoffs, that's where I'd go for, because
you can't.
It does feel, but it's that lottery, isn't it? So yes, it would.
I'd
be
love
amazing.
a day out in Wembley. To be fair, it's bank holiday weekend as well. Just get absolutely twatted around London. I was there for.
Oh God, no, I can't think about worse. Fuck,
Oh man,
twatted around London.
Yeah, it's good.
What makes you all Southerners and stuff? Ugh.
I was there for Doncaster, mate, in 2008. Was it 6, 8? Round about then.
6, 7?
No, I don't know. It was one of them years. I was about 19.
7.
I was 19. So yeah, it was.
Not in fucking 2007 when you want.
I was 21. I was 21 then. I can't remember how old I was.
2008.
Anyway, it was 2008. So
07,
so yeah,
that's what I meant.
I was there, and it was fucking class, man. Leeds just took over the city of London every pub you went in. It was just Leeds fans.
It will be quality because there'll be a lot of people down there.
Yeah,
if it happens, there'll be a lot of fans, a lot of Leeds fans down there.
Yeah, no, and I think that's fair. It's just
the heartache in it that comes with it when fucking
yeah.
What was his name, man? Who scored? I could never fucking get his name out of my head. We lost 1-0, didn't we, on that day? Scarred me for life.
Oh, he was their midfielder, wasn't it?
No,
Hater.
it was a centre back, wasn't it? Hater, James Hater.
Oh,
yeah. No, you were a forward, actually. We were both wrong.
I was there. It was a big lump, wasn't it? It was just a big fucking
no,
lump.
he was 5'9".
Oh, fucking hell, that shows how pissed I was.
I mean, to be fair, it's much bigger than you, if you listen to Jay.
It's like me on Jay's shoulders.
Who says he's got to be in the fountains in Trafalgar Square if we do it. I imagine he won't be on his own in there.
There'll be no diving signs around it except when it comes to Jay.
With his Free Palestine flag on round his back.
What the fuck? Yeah.
I don't know. Right, okay. We've been on a while, and I'm going to start calling it to a close. So, quick update, no update at all on my letter to DCMS. And just from an Andy's Man Club's perspective, we've not had any detail through in terms of actual organised events or anything. They are being worked on in the background. We'll be sharing them as soon as we've got access to them. But we did have a request to remind people that Andy's Man Club meets every Monday night, and they do so at College of Building in Leeds, Leeds South, Leeds Milford, Leeds Seacroft, and Leeds Pudsey. You can go and you can get the addresses and other places. They're all the Leeds ones, but there are other places as well. Every Monday, 7 till 9, have a brew, a biscuit, and a chat. Get involved in the conversation. If you feel like it, there is absolutely no pressure to do so. Some people just turn up just for the, not to be on their own. Some people just turn up to look to provide support to others. Whatever your reasoning, it's a good bunch. And if you want a bit of company or you want to be able to talk to somebody, get yourself down because they're great blokes.
Absolutely.
Anything else from you guys?
No.
Absolutely not.
Okay, so the last thing for me to do is abuse Smarty for saying that I would do the Leeds 10K. It's already killing me. You're a bastard.
Hey, at least you're able to run at minute. I'm fucked. I went for my practice run last week. Yeah, I went for my practice run. My calf went again. Man, I might be doing it on crutches at this rate.
You're still doing it anyway.
Yeah, I'm still doing it. Yeah,
but on that note, we've got a Just Giving page set up that goes directly through to Andy's Man Club. So if you've got anything,
don't donate. Don't donate. I mean, that's probably wrong for me to say, but don't donate because then it means I've got to really, really try.
No, actually, so everybody listen to that. So donate and make him really, really try. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Smarty. Thank you, Luke. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, Classy Leeds United.